Welcome back, everybody. So, first and foremost, we did reach our goal of 250 subscribers. So, that video will be a little later on today. But recently, I've seen a lot of people doing Worksharp videos, and I don't want to say they weren't doing it right, because I mean, technically there's no right or wrong way to do it, but I would say that maybe some of my techniques are a little better. So we'll talk about that. And plus, I thought maybe you guys might want to see how I sharpen and maintain blades and whatnot. So, as we had talked before, when the unboxing of this, the Frost Cutlery Skin Master, which I don't know. I think back in high school I had a few friends that might have got that nickname, but anyway, it's gonna need a complete reprofile and resharpening. Let me see if I can't get this thing up close. Might be kind of hard to really get it good, but we're gonna try. So hopefully, I think you can see the yeah, see all the edge there? It is not. Look at that. See that light glaring off there? That's bad. So, not a good edge on it. I mean, it is a $13 knife, so we kind of expected that, but you can see right there, that's some either serious rolling, because it's kind of hard to tell just by looking at it. It almost just looks like it wasn't sharpened, really. Try to get it in here. I really hope I can get it where you guys can see it good. Not, a little bit. See that there? So, yeah, needless to say, this does not have a very good edge on it. It is better, back in this area, but it's still not good. I mean, in the other video I said it's not sharp, and it's not, but I mean, it probably would cut you if, enough force was applied, but I mean, I think anything would. So I don't think it's going to cut this paper, but let's just find out so we know where we're at to start with. Well, not very well. You can see that was kind of forced. Really, that's pretty bad. So, yeah. So anyway, we'll go ahead and do a reprofile on this and take it from this terrible V-grind to a nice convex. So, and this video might be a little long, guys, so if it is, sorry about that, but I'll try to edit where possible. So before we even get into this part, the knife part, let's talk about this part. So you can see I've already got it set up with the heaviest grit belt, but before we even get to that, so this machine, it has, obviously, yeah, it's dirty, I use it, but you can adjust your angle here. So I'm sure you all know how they determine that. So that's determined here. You put your blade here flat, go up here, boom, you get your angle. So that part's adjustable. But also you can adjust this roller to here. So there's two adjustments. Well, that makes your sharpening area here wider or shorter. So what that's going to translate into is that is going to determine how much of an angle you're actually putting on the edge, you know. So basically, you know, I'm trying to figure out the best way to describe this. So, you know, you're able to control how much here besides just controlling your blade here. So basically, when you move this up into the upper position, it gets it closer to a traditional V-grind than just a traditional convex, which it's still a convex no matter what because of the way it's being done. However, if when you're sharpening, if you're keeping it more up towards the roller itself, then the belt, you know, doesn't conform as much, so it's going to have a flatter grind on it than, say, you know, doing it way down here in the middle. So when I do it, I usually stick pretty close to the top roller up there. Another interesting fact that I never really see anybody talk about, something that I've kind of figured out. So when people are sharpening on this, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of videos of it, I mean, I know I have. So when they're sharpening on this thing, you'll see them, they're going around, going down, then they'll turn, and they'll go like that, which of course, yeah, halfway down the belt, stop, you know, whatever. I normally go to about 3/4, and I've had really good results with it, but we'll see how I do on this one. So, but anyway, my point is, when you're going down through here and you're cutting down like this, what you're doing is you're cutting your belly down when you sharpen it like that. So what I'm getting at is, instead of it being, you know, like it is right now, eventually over time, you'll shallow that belly out. And that's not really a good thing. So what I do is what the makers do, really. You know, as you're coming down, instead of turning to follow the edge, as I'm coming down like this, I lift it up to get to my edge there. And you'll see, and you've probably noticed, if you look at most of your factory ground blades, most all of them have the scratches all going one way. Even as it gets down towards the tip, they're almost always this way. Now, some of them, I have noticed on some of the Essies, they will kind of turn just a little bit as they get out to the edge, but definitely not, you know, like completely following it. So that might just be a case-by-case thing, because not all of them are that way. I just have noticed some that are that way. So that is kind of a little bit of explanation, probably not nearly enough, but a little bit of explanation of how I set my machine up and how I use it. Also, another thing, and well, I guess we'll talk about that towards the end. So I don't know how loud this is going to be, and I don't know, I might quiet it down and do some voiceover on it. I don't know, we'll see what happens. But we're going to go ahead and start reprofiling this thing. So here we go. First off, we got to get the tracking of the belt and make sure it's good to go. And this is the first belt that it comes with, which is a 120 grit, the roughest grit. That's what we'll start out with. So here we go. Okay, tracking seems to be good, and I run this machine at a lower speed. I don't ever run it higher than its lowest speed. I don't know, maybe that's good, maybe that's bad, I don't know, but that's what I do. And I never have any overheating problems with the blade. So, and I keep my fingers right up there by it, so I can definitely feel if there's any kind of change in temperature. So, all right, here we go. Nope, hold on. One more thing that I have to say. So you're supposed to, lay it flat here and then bring it up. Well, on a flat ground knife, it's not going to be the case so much, but on other knives that are, like say a saber ground where it's going to have your flat and then your bevel, I don't line on the flat. I line the actual bevel before I go into sharpen, and because I've tried it both ways, and if you level it here, to the flat and then sharpen, it's not as good as leveling it to the bevel and then sharpening it. So I don't know, just a thought. So let's go ahead and get started on this thing anyway. We're not done with that yet, but we're starting to develop a good convex on there. It's going to take a few more runs because when they ground this thing, it is not even. So I'm going to try to even it up. It might look a little funky in the camera there how I'm doing it, but just stick with me till the end. I think we'll have a pretty good result, so we'll see. And of course, I'm no professional on this machine, but I have used it quite a bit. And of course, cool to the touch. Now, it would get too hot if you let it sit there. Usually I'll do a few passes and then kind of let it cool off a little bit. And we're getting closer. I am afraid, though, this thing may end up with a little bit wider bevel at the tip just because I'm having to even it up. Like this side's got a real wide at the end, which I didn't do that, but at the very end it widens out, and then this end is not near as wide. So I'm going to do my best to bring it in, but I've got to clean this up a little bit more before we move on. I am gonna have to attack this side a little bit more, so won't be even strokes on it, but that's what it's gonna take to even it up. So we're starting to develop a little bit of a burr towards the tip, which is good, I guess. But the rest of it is not quite there. So here we go some more. Another thing with this machine, you just always want to be checking what you're doing. Like as you're going, you don't want to rush through it, that's for sure. But we're getting very close here, very, very close. It's just going to be a few more passes, I think. See what we've got here. Alright, now, looks much better. Only part I'm really not satisfied with is all the way down here, which, again, it was already that way, so for me to fix that, I would have to grind quite a bit. But it's literally just like from there to there, so I mean that little tiny tip of a point isn't going to make a difference. So, alright. But we're looking good, looking pretty symmetrical here on everything. And for those that say you can't get a sharp point with a Worksharp, that's just starting off, that's not finished. So, alright, done with the 120 belt. Now we're going to move up to the 220 belt. And we're going to refine that edge and go ahead and knock down that wire, the burr there. I don't know if you could really see that coming through or not. I mean, I can see it real well. Don't know if you can on the camera. We'll see. But that's what I'm watching as I'm going through here. I'm watching the burr that, you know, raises as you go. I mean, that's how you know if everything is all even. So let's get this belt centered and keep going. Alright, let's take a look at that. And by let's, I mean me. But I'll show it to you here in just a second. And I'll probably speed up a lot of the parts where I'm just grinding away. Okay, we'll let you take a look at that. So that's where we're at so far. And of course, we're not done, obviously. But it's coming along. We were able to even out the grind on the tip there. Kept it pretty symmetrical all the way around. We've got majority of the 120 scratches out. Might need to give it just a few more though. Alright, I think I'm pretty well satisfied with the 220. Yep, I'm satisfied with that. Okay. Now it jumps straight from 220 all the way up to 1,000. which that's not a problem. It works out pretty good. So now this is still gonna have a burr or wire edge on it, of course, but let you have a look, see it where we're at so far on it. So that's so far. And right now it's sharp enough it would cut you. Right now. We'll see how this slicks up. Alright, let's take a look here. And again, by let's, I mean me. It seemed to have removed all of the 220 scratches. Which, like I said, I'm still not satisfied with how it is down here at this very tip. But I don't think it's worth grinding all that down to be able to fix that yet. Whenever I have to go back and resharpen this thing, because I'm sure, being this Chinese steel, it's probably not gonna hold an edge. That being said, hopefully it'll let me put a good edge on it. We'll see. It may not. It may not be a quality enough steel that can take, you know, refining down to that thin of an edge. We'll see. Or that fine of an edge, we'll say. But I'm going to go over this just a couple more times and then we'll move up. Pretty satisfied with that. And I could probably get it absolutely perfect, but again, I don't know if this steel's even gonna allow me to, so let's see. Alright, now we're up to the 3000 belt. And this is where you'll really see that mirror polish come out. So let me show you that again. Let me get up here where I can see to make sure. Kind of hard to see it now. So there's a tip on there. You can see that's pretty symmetrical now. And of course, like I said, we're not done yet, but for those people that say you can't get a good tip with a Worksharp, yeah, right. I'll give you a tip. If you can't get one with the Worksharp, you're in bad shape. Alright, now that's pretty good. And that's where I see a lot of people stop with this machine. A lot of people don't worry about the 12,000 grit belt because it's not as rigid. You can see it's not as rigid as these other belts are. And I think that's because Worksharp claims that you can do serrations with this belt, so it'll conform to it. Well, that's all good, but that being said, you've got to really pay attention to what you're doing with this belt, because, you know, if you're not, then it'll definitely take your tip out if you're not careful. Although one nice thing, I don't have to address the spine on this knife. That is a plus. Whoa, we're way out. You'll notice this belt runs a lot quieter. Oh wait, maybe I should have shown you real quick here before we go into that, if you can see it. How much of a mirror it put on it. Did a really good job. And there's our tip. Still fully intact and actually better than what it was. So, alright, here we go with the 12,000. Just had a little bit of a twitch there, but I wanted to stop because when I'm running this belt here, this 12,000, I mean, I am just barely putting any pressure on it at all. You know, I don't even know if I'm putting weight of the knife on it, just barely going over that surface. And of course, right now, this thing is super sharp. But we're not done with it yet. Let me do a couple more passes and then we'll move on. So this belt here being a 12,000 grit belt, come on now, that 12,000 grit, that's going to be close to what the green compound is, you know, that you'll see on hand strops. It's usually around 12,000. So now what I've put on is a leather strap belt, so that way I can do some power stropping. Now on this belt, it has this here, the as you can see, the Bark River CBN emulsion, which is a diamond emulsion at 0.5 micron. So you can see there we're at 32,000 grit. That's what this is, and that's what is on this belt. And it likes to throw little pieces. And again, light touch on this belt. There's that. Now, that's it for the machine. So we'll move it out of the way. Now that is finished. Get it up here to the camera. Now that is finished to 32,000 grit, which of course makes it super sharp. And you see a little bit of the mirror. And there's our tip. Fully intact. Plenty sharp. So now we're almost done with this thing. So then I get out the old hand portion, which this might be hard to do with the camera set up. I'll try my best here. So on this one here, I've got the 50 or the 0.5 micron emulsion, and then on this one I have, and brand specific, I don't know. This is just the one that I got. It's not like it's anything special, but Tech Diamond Tools, Diamond Compound, 200,000 grit. So that is what I finish with. It's 200,000 grit. Now I'm going to try to be able to do this hopefully in shot for you guys. Kind of hard to do. All turned around weird the way I am. But this 200,000 grit right here, it really makes the difference. Now when I'm doing this 200, I do kind of move it around and swirl it around a little bit more than I would on the belt or on the power system. Sorry, I gotta turn just a little bit. Don't critique my technique on that, because I was turned around all crazy, and hope I didn't do more damage than good, but I don't think so. Everything still looked pretty good. And this edge, it's a durable edge that I put on them. I've had real good luck with it. So we'll see how it turns out. Alright, that should probably be enough to yeah. Let you get another peek here. I think it shows best like that. So it's got a little bit better edge on it than what it had to begin with, and let's see how good it worked out. I don't know, can you guys see that? You could outright shave your face with this thing. no problem. And like I said, this is a strong, durable edge. So whereas it would barely cut this paper before, I mean, it's just absolutely effortless. Now, try, sometimes depending on the paper and the knife and everything else, sometimes I can get a push cut out of it. Let's see. No, not with this one. Whoa. So there's that. But I would guess that I probably know how to use the Worksharp okay. Like I said, maybe it isn't for everybody, and I mean, I don't think it should replace, you know, by any means your other forms of sharpening. But for something with a convex on it, I just don't see any other way that could be better. I mean, I know I've watched a lot of guys, you know, hand sharpen with stones on their convex and etc., but I don't know. To me, I think this is the best way to go. It looks good, it works good. Try and get this thing cleaned up a little bit here if I can. And of course, I use Flitz polish. I'm sure most of you guys do too, because it's the best. Well, I don't know if it's the best. It's just what I've always used. There's a lot of guys use that semi-chrome, and it looks like it works out alright. But I've had super good luck with the Flitz. Almost like you can see a heat treat line in this thing. I don't know if that's what it is or not. I just wanted to clean it up though so you could get a good final shot, and then if you want, we can do another video later or whatever that'll show you how I polish them and whatnot with the Flitz. And there's the tip at the end. When we're all done, that's the tip, which almost looks like it's blunted, but trust me, it isn't. It's just the way the light catches it. Got a little sheet of paper here, so we'll see if it doesn't look like a blunted tip to me. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, I can't recommend the Worksharp highly enough. It's a wonderful, wonderful machine. For me to get results like this prior to getting this machine, it would have took some time. I would have been at it for quite a while, so needless to say, thanks to Ken Onion and Worksharp for making it possible. But my favorite sharpening system that I've got right now, I know Worksharp is about to drop that guided sharpener, which I'll be picking one of those up. They're rumored to be like 50 to 60 bucks. I'll be getting one of those for sure. And we'll test that out. So, well, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I know that was a long one, but hopefully you learned a little something, that you didn't know, or at the very least saw how I do things. So, I'm glad to spend time with you guys. And stay tuned for the winner draw on that trade. We'll see you then.